Child, what I'm about to tell you is not what you think this is. Chrisean Rock allegedly just became the target of one of the most calculated, dangerous setups the industry has seen this year. And I'm not talking about regular beef loves. I'm talking about a $33,000 identity switch that reportedly has her name written all over it. Except she might not have written it herself. Somebody allegedly wanted her destroyed, and they almost succeeded. I mean, when I first saw the screenshots, when I heard that voice note, when people started going silent on social media, yikes! I knew this wasn't just drama. This was a setup, a long game. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly who was watching her, who set the trap, and why this 33K scandal is only the beginning of something way bigger. So buckle up, loves. Here we go.
Okay, so let me back up for a second, because this didn't just pop off overnight. Word on the street is that weeks before anybody even heard about this scandal, strange things were already happening around Chrisean. According to multiple sources close to her circle, she allegedly started noticing weird accounts following her. Not regular fan pages, but blank profiles. No posts, no followers, just watching. Then reports say the text messages started coming in. Unknown numbers, cryptic stuff, and apparently one number in particular kept calling her phone at odd hours. She'd answer, nothing, just silence on the other end. Now, at the time, Chrisean allegedly brushed it off. I mean, when you're in the public eye like that, you get weirdos all the time, right? But looking back now, sheesh, those weren't random fans' loves. Sources are now saying she was already being watched, monitored, studied. And somebody the internet is calling the ghost handler was allegedly in the shadows, setting up the perfect trap. A $33,000 identity transaction with Chrisean Rock's name about to be dragged right through the mud. This wasn't an accident, y'all. This was by design.
The digital earthquake begins. So here's how it all allegedly went down, okay? Picture this. It's a random Tuesday evening. Most people are scrolling, minding their business, and then out of nowhere, a fan page, not even a big one, just some random account with like 8,000 followers, posts a screenshot. And the caption says, Chrisean connected to 33K identity switch? This is wild! The screenshot is blurry. You can barely even read it, but it shows what looks like some kind of financial document with partial names, dollar amounts, and allegedly Chrisean's information somewhere in the mix. Now, at first, people are confused. Like, what is this? Is this real? Where did this even come from? But then, loves, within literal minutes, the repost storm begins. Bigger pages pick it up, commentary accounts jump on it, TikTok detectives start stitching the post with their theories, and suddenly, allegedly, insiders start appearing in comment sections talking about, yeah, I heard about this weeks ago, she's been moving shady. Like, who are these people? Where did y'all come from? Why does everyone suddenly have inside information? Honestly, this is how you know something's coordinated, because real tea takes time to spread, but this was instant. This was ready to go. The theories multiply. Reports say that within 2 hours, the internet had already split into camps. Camp 1 was saying, Chrisean is guilty. She's been involved in shady stuff before. This tracks. Camp 2 was saying, Chrisean is being set up. This is clearly a smear campaign. And Camp 3, which honestly might have been the loudest, were saying, Chrisean is the mastermind. She orchestrated the whole thing. I mean, mastermind. We're talking about the same person? Let's be real for a second. But that's the narrative that allegedly started taking over. People were calling her a scammer, a liar, a manipulator, and every hour that passed, new evidence kept appearing. Except here's the thing, loves. The evidence was fake, or at least most of it was. The fabricated receipts. One of the most viral pieces of proof was allegedly a video clip. Grainy footage shot from a distance shows a figure in a hoodie exchanging envelopes with another person outside what looks like a bank or an office building. People started saying, "That's Chrisean, look at the walk, that's definitely her." Except the clip is from 2018 and it's not even her. I'm serious. Internet sleuths eventually traced the clip back to a completely unrelated incident involving two different people in a different state. But by the time that information came out, the damage was already done. The clip had been viewed millions of times. Thousands of people had already made up their minds. And that's the scary part about all this, y'all. Once something goes viral, the truth doesn't matter anymore. The lie becomes the story. The emotional toll. Sources close to Chrisean reportedly said she was devastated when she first saw what was being said about her. I mean, allegedly, she was confused. She didn't even know what the 33K thing was at first. One close friend was quoted as saying, "She called me crying. She was like, why is my name in this? I don't even know these people." Honestly, that breaks my heart. Because whether you like Chrisean or not, imagine waking up and your name is attached to something you had nothing to do with, and millions of people are calling you a criminal. But y'all, Chrisean wasn't about to just sit there and take it. Oh no, not at all.
So after days of silence while the internet absolutely dragged her, Chrisean finally came out swinging. And loves, when I tell you this woman did not come to play, she hopped on Instagram Live. No makeup, no script, just raw emotion and fury. And she said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but this is allegedly pretty close. Y'all really thought I was going to let this slide? Y'all really thought I wasn't going to say nothing? Nah, I see exactly what's happening. And to whoever set this up, to whoever put my name in their mouth, to whoever faked them screenshots, I know who you are, and you better hope I don't say your name out loud. Child, the internet went silent. People were shook because it wasn't just a denial. It wasn't just, I didn't do it. It was a full-on warning. The layers of the scandal. Chrisean then allegedly went on to break down the timeline. She showed her own receipts, bank statements, location check-ins, text message logs, proving that on the dates the alleged transactions happened, she wasn't even in the same state. I mean, she came prepared. She had her lawyer on standby. She had screenshots of fake pages that popped up right before the scandal hit. She even allegedly exposed a few of the insiders who were spreading lies, showing that some of them had been paid to post. Like, paid, we're talking Venmo receipts, Cash App transactions, the works. But here's where it gets even messier, loves, because while Chrisean was exposing all this, another layer of allegations started surfacing. Rumors that the 33K wasn't just about money. Word on the street is this was allegedly connected to something way bigger. Identity fraud, yes, but also control, power, a silent war happening behind the scenes that most of us don't even see. The rapid-fire accusations. People started listing off all the things Chrisean is allegedly being framed for. Using someone else's social security number to open accounts, laundering money through dummy LLCs, being part of a larger fraud ring, working with unnamed industry figures to scam fans. I mean, the list just kept growing. Every day it was something new. And the thing is, loves, when you throw enough accusations at someone, even if they're all false, people start to think, well, there's gotta be some truth to it, right? Wrong. That's exactly what they want you to think. The emotional breaking point. Sources say Chrisean reportedly broke down multiple times during this period. One close friend allegedly told a blog she wasn't eating, she wasn't sleeping, she was just sitting there refreshing her phone, watching her name get destroyed in real time. And that's the part that people forget when they're out here making memes and jokes. There's a real person behind all this. Someone's daughter, someone's mother. And allegedly she was going through hell. But despite all that, she kept fighting, she kept posting, she kept talking. Because she knew she went silent, they'd write the story for her. And loves, that's when things got truly dangerous.
The internet splits. Okay, so as you can imagine, reactions to all this were immediate. And I mean, the internet had opinions, honey. On one side, you had Chrisean's loyal fans, the ones who've been rocking with her through everything, and they were out for blood. They were in the comments like, y'all are so quick to tear a black woman down. Where's this energy for everyone else? This is clearly a setup and y'all are falling for it. I been said something was off about this. Chrisean would never. And honestly, a lot of their points were valid. Because if you actually looked at the evidence Chrisean provided, the holes in the accusations were pretty glaring. But then, on the other side, you had people who were absolutely convinced she was guilty. Comments like, where there's smoke, there's fire. She's been messy before. This is just her getting caught. I don't trust nobody in the industry. They all doing something shady. And look, I get it. Trust in celebrities is at an all-time low. We've been lied to so many times that it's hard to know what's real anymore. The sympathetic middle ground. But here's what was interesting, loves. There was also a growing group of people, not necessarily fans, not necessarily haters, who were looking at this and saying, something doesn't add up. This feels coordinated. One viral tweet allegedly said, the way this scandal dropped was too clean, too fast, too organized. Somebody wanted Chrisean to take the fall for something. And when you really think about it, that person might be onto something. The cultural conversation. This whole situation also sparked a bigger conversation about how black women in entertainment are treated when controversy hits. Multiple commentators and even some verified accounts were pointing out, why is it that when a black woman is accused of something, the evidence doesn't even have to be solid, but other people get the benefit of the doubt for years? Now look, I get it. I'm not saying Chrisean is perfect, none of us are, but the speed at which people were ready to believe the worst, that's worth examining, y'all. The defenders and the critics. On the other hand, critics were quick to point out that Chrisean's past behavior hasn't always helped her public image. Some people brought up old incidents, old arguments, old drama, and used that as proof that she's capable of this. But here's the thing, and I want to be really clear about this, y'all. Past mistakes don't mean someone is guilty of everything they're accused of. That's not how justice works. That's not even how logic works. And just when people thought they'd heard everything, just when the internet was starting to move on, that's when the voice note leaked. And loves, that is when this whole thing went from messy to absolutely chilling.
All right, y'all, this is where the story takes a turn. Because somebody, and to this day, no one knows who, allegedly leaked a voice note. It appeared on a random Twitter account. No profile picture, no followers, just the audio file and a caption that said, she wasn't supposed to talk. Now, when I tell you, my blood ran cold when I first heard this. The voice in the recording is distorted, clearly run through some kind of filter or app to disguise it, but you can still make out the tone, the cadence. And loves, it sounds calm, too calm, like someone who's done this before. The full message, according to reports, allegedly says, she wasn't supposed to talk. That wasn't part of the plan. Now we have to move to phase 2. Phase 2, y'all. What the hell is phase 2? The fan theories explode. Obviously, the internet lost its mind. People started analyzing every syllable of that voice note, slowing it down, speeding it up, running it through audio software. Some people swore it sounded like a woman. Others said it was definitely a man. A few people even claimed they recognized the voice, but nobody could agree on who it actually was. The theories got wild. Theory 1, it's allegedly an ex-friend of Chrisean's, someone who is close to her, knows her routine, and has access to her private information. Theory 2, it's reportedly a jealous rival in the industry, someone who'd been waiting for the right moment to take her down and saw this as the perfect opportunity. Theory 3, and this is the one that really took off, it's allegedly a bigger celebrity, someone with serious power and influence who'd been pulling strings behind the scenes this whole time. Now, I'm not going to sit here and name names because we don't have solid proof, but sources close to the situation have allegedly hinted that the person behind this has ties to multiple people in Chrisean's circle. Someone who moves quietly, someone who smiles in public and manipulates in private. Now, if that's true, loves, this is so much bigger than $33,000. The insider's perspective.
Around the same time, another voice started emerging. Someone who allegedly used to work in artist management. Let's call them the industry insider, because they requested to remain anonymous. Gave an interview to a small podcast. And what they said was damning. According to this person, setups like this are allegedly more common than we think. They said, when someone in the industry wants you gone, they don't just come at you directly. They destroy your reputation first. They plant seeds of doubt. They make the public turn on you. And by the time you realize what's happening, it's too late. The insider went on to allegedly claim that they'd seen this exact playbook used before on other artists. Create a scandal, fabricate evidence, leak it strategically, and then sit back and watch the internet do the rest. And the worst part, most of the time, the person being targeted has no idea who is actually behind it, because the real puppet master never shows their face. So, now people are starting to connect dots that maybe weren't obvious before. Questions like, who benefits from Chrisean being discredited right now? Who's been quietly positioning themselves while she's been under attack? Who has access to the kind of resources it would take to pull off something this coordinated? And when you start asking those questions, loves a few names do start to float around. Not confirmed, not proven, but suspicious. Here's the thing. The $33,000 identity transaction, that's just the surface. The real story, allegedly, is about power, about control, about using Chrisean Rock as the perfect scapegoat, while someone else walks away clean. And that's exactly what we're about to get into.
Okay, loves, it's time to get into the receipts, because if we're going to understand what really happened here, we need to look at the actual evidence. Not the fake stuff, the real stuff. So let's start with the original document that allegedly started this whole mess. According to sources who've seen the full, uncensored version, because remember, what went viral was blurry and partial. The document appears to be some kind of financial transfer record. It shows a $33,000 transaction connected to what's labeled as an identity verification process. Now, the name on the document? It's allegedly a variation of Chrisean's legal name. But here's where it gets interesting, y'all. The spelling is slightly off, like one letter different. The middle initial's wrong, and the address listed? Chrisean hasn't lived there in over 2 years. So right away, that should have been a red flag. If this was really her, why would basic information be incorrect? The timeline breakdown. Let's talk about the timeline, because this is where things really start to fall apart for the accusations. Week 1, early October, allegedly. Mystery accounts start following Chrisean. Unknown number begins calling her phone. First suspicious text messages appear. Week 2, mid-October. The $33K transaction allegedly takes place, but Chrisean's team has provided proof she was out of the country during this time. Passport stamps, hotel receipts, social media posts with geotags, all of it checks out. Week 3, late October. More activity allegedly happens under the false identity. Additional accounts are opened. Purchases are made. Week 4, early November, the scandal breaks publicly. Blurry screenshot goes viral. The internet turns on Chrisean. So explain to me how someone who's literally in a different country is supposed to have walked into a physical location and provided ID for these transactions. It makes sense. The fake social media accounts. Remember how I mentioned Chrisean allegedly exposed people who were paid to spread lies? Let's talk about that. According to screenshots Chrisean shared, there's reportedly a trail of small payments. We're talking $50 here, $100 there, going to various social media accounts right before they posted about the scandal. One transaction allegedly had a note that said, for the Chrisean post. Like, they didn't even try to hide it. Now, who is sending these payments? That's where it gets murky. The accounts appear to be linked to a secondary source, and that source? Some people are alleging it connects back to someone with serious industry ties. The surveillance evidence. This part is honestly the creepiest, y'all. Chrisean's team allegedly hired a private investigator after the voice note leaked, and what they found was reportedly disturbing. According to sources, there's evidence that someone may have been tracking Chrisean's location, monitoring her phone activity, and even allegedly accessing some of her private accounts. We're talking about a level of surveillance that goes way beyond regular internet drama. This is allegedly coordinated, professional, expensive. The video proved debunked. Remember that viral video of someone in a hoodie exchanging envelopes? Let's put that to bed right now. Internet investigators, the real ones, not the conspiracy theorists, tracked down the original source of that clip. It was pulled from a local news report from 2018 about a completely unrelated case in Arizona. The person in the video? Not Chrisean, not even close. But here's the thing, loves. By the time that got debunked, the video had already been viewed over 10 million times. People had already made up their minds. That's the power of misinformation. The lie spreads at lightning speed. The truth limps behind trying to catch up. The financial records. Chrisean's legal team reportedly subpoenaed financial records connected to the illustrated actions. And guess what they found? Nothing, absolutely nothing connecting her to the transactions. No matching bank accounts, no matching IP addresses, no matching devices, no physical signatures. So where exactly is the evidence that she did this? The pattern recognition. Here's what's wild though. When you lay out all the evidence that was used against Chrisean, a pattern emerges. Blurry, hard to verify images, check. Anonymous insider source this, check. Fake social media account, check. Misleading video clips, check. Perfectly timed leaks. That's not organic drama, loves. That's a playbook. So if all the evidence against Chrisean is fake and someone clearly went through a lot of trouble to make it look real, the question becomes, why? What's the real motive here? And that's where this story gets truly dark.
The industry power play. All right, y'all, we need to talk about what this is really about. Because once you understand the bigger picture, the 33K identity switch starts to look less like a random scam and more like a strategic weapon. Here's the thing about the entertainment industry that most people don't realize. It's not just about talent. It's not just about who's hot right now. It's about control. There are people, powerful people, who allegedly have a vested interest in controlling narratives, controlling artists, and controlling who gets to rise and who gets taken down. And when someone like Chrisean Rock starts moving independently, starts building her own brand, starts making her own money without playing by the rules, that makes certain people very, very uncomfortable. The enabling system. So let's talk about how something like this even happens, because this wasn't a one-person job, loves. This took resources, this took coordination, this took access. According to industry insiders, there's allegedly a whole ecosystem that enables these kinds of setups. The gossip blogs, some of them are allegedly on payroll. They'll post whatever they're told to post, no questions asked, as long as the check clears. The anonymous sources, people who claim to have inside information, but conveniently can't be verified. They pop up, drop a bomb, and disappear. The social media bots, accounts that amplify negative content, making it look like public opinion is turning when really it's just artificial engagement. The industry friends, people close to the target who allegedly feed information to the puppet master. They smile in your face while reporting your every move. And the scary part? Most artists don't even know who they can trust because the people closest to you might be the ones selling you out. The motive. More than money. Now let's talk about motive, because here's where people get it twisted. They think this is about the $33,000. It's not. $33K is honestly pocket change in the industry. So why would someone go through this much trouble for that amount? The real motive, according to sources, allegedly has to do with positioning. Think about it. If Chrisean's reputation is destroyed, who benefits? Who has been trying to secure deals that Chrisean was also in the running for? Who has allegedly been threatened by her growing independence and influence? Some sources are saying this is about eliminating competition. Others claim it's about revenge for something that happened years ago. And a few people whisper that it's about setting an example, showing other artists what happens when you don't play ball. The wider accountability circle. But here's the thing that's really important, loves. This isn't just about one villain in a dark room plotting Chrisean's downfall. There are multiple people who allegedly contributed to this, whether they realized it or not. The blogs that posted without verifying, they gave the fake story legitimacy. The influencers who piled on, they amplified the message to millions of followers.
The fans who attacked without asking questions. They did the dirty work, harassing Chrisean and spreading the lies further. And the industry figures who stayed silent. Their silence was allegedly complicity. They could have spoken up. They didn't. So the accountability circle is wide, y'all. It's not just one person. It's a whole system that allowed this to happen. The cultural context. We also can't ignore the cultural element here. There's allegedly a specific kind of scrutiny that black women in entertainment face that others don't. When a white celebrity is accused of something, there's often a rush to defend them, to say innocent until proven guilty, to demand receipts. But when it's a black woman, especially one who's outspoken, who doesn't fit the respectable mold, the rules change. People are quick to believe the worst, quick to judge, quick to tear down. And that double standard, it's not accidental loves, it's structural. And people with bad intentions know exactly how to exploit it. The institutional gaps. One expert who allegedly spoke on this situation pointed out that there are massive gaps in how these situations are handled. No real fact-checking. Most gossip content spreads without any verification. There's no standard, no accountability, no protection for targets. If you're being falsely accused, there's very little you can do to stop the spread. By the time you prove your innocence, the damage is done. No consequences for false accusers. The people who create and spread the fake evidence rarely face any real repercussions. So essentially, it's the perfect environment for someone to destroy a person's reputation with almost no risk to themselves. The psychological warfare. And let's talk about the psychological impact, because this is real. According to mental health professionals who work with public figures, being the target of a coordinated smear campaign can allegedly cause severe anxiety and panic attacks, depression and feelings of hopelessness, paranoia and trust issues, PTSD-like symptoms. Chrisean reportedly told a close friend, "I don't even know who's real anymore. I look at people and I'm like, are you the one? Did you help them to do this to me?" That's what this does, y'all. It doesn't just destroy your reputation. It destroys your sense of safety, your ability to trust. And whoever did this to Chrisean, they knew exactly what they were doing. But here's the part that's got the entire internet on edge right now. Because while all this was coming to light, while we were learning about the fake evidence and the coordination and the motives, someone allegedly started digging into who was really behind it. And what they found? Loves, it's about to blow this whole thing wide open.
The leaked document. Okay, y'all, this is it. This is the moment everyone's been waiting for. Because allegedly, and I cannot stress enough that this is alleged, a document leaked. Nobody knows exactly where it came from. Some people say it was an internal leak from someone with a conscience. Others claim it was hacked. A few people even think Chrisean's team found it during their investigation and strategically released it. But regardless of how it got out, the contents are absolutely explosive. The alleged document appears to be some kind of internal communication. Could be an email, could be a text thread, could be notes from a meeting. The formatting isn't totally clear because parts of it are redacted. But what is clear? There's a name. A name, loves. And according to people who claim to have seen the full unredacted version, this is someone that no one expected. Someone who's been publicly supportive of Chrisean. Someone who smiles in photos with her. Someone who has access. Someone who's allegedly been playing a very, very long game. The clues start connecting. Now, before this document leaked, there were already breadcrumbs, okay? Little things that didn't make sense at the time, but now people are going back and looking at them with fresh eyes. Clue number 1. About 6 weeks before the scandal broke, there was allegedly a party. Industry event. Chrisean was there, and sources say she got into a disagreement with someone. It wasn't major, it wasn't public, but people who were there remember it. At the time, it seemed like nothing, just a brief, uncomfortable moment, but now people are saying that might have been the catalyst. The moment when someone decided, okay, it's time. Clue number 2.
Around the same time, several of Chrisean's industry connections allegedly started becoming distant. Calls weren't being returned, meetings were being rescheduled, collaborations were falling through. Chrisean reportedly even mentioned it to a friend, saying, "I feel like people are avoiding me and I don't know why." Sounds like maybe some people got a warning, doesn't it? Like maybe they were told to distance themselves before the storm hit. Clue number 3, the timing of certain posts. If you go back and look, and trust me, the internet detectives have been looking, there are allegedly posts from specific people that seem to foreshadow the scandal. Vague things like, "You really never know people. Some truths are about to come out. Watch who you trust in this industry." Posted days or even weeks before the scandal actually broke. Coincidence? Or were certain people in the know? The name that can't be said yet. Now, I'm going to be real with you, loves. I cannot say the name out loud. Not yet. Not until there's concrete, undeniable proof. Because that's how you get sued, okay? But what I can tell you is what people are saying about this person. They allegedly have serious power in the industry. We're talking executive level. We're talking connections with major labels, major networks, major money. They've allegedly been linked to other suspicious situations in the past. Other artists who suddenly faced scandal right when they were about to break through or break away. They have a reputation for being strategic. That's the word people keep using, strategic, which is code for we'll do whatever it takes to maintain power. And most damning of all, they allegedly had a recent falling out with Chrisean. Something about money, something about control, something that clearly wasn't resolved. Now, when people started connecting these dots, when this name started circulating in group chats and DMs, the response was immediate. Some people were shocked. Others were like, "I'm not surprised at all." And a few people allegedly went completely silent. Deactivated accounts, went private, disappeared from social media entirely. And that behavior, that tells you something, doesn't it? The alleged confession, but here's where he gets even crazier, y'all. Allegedly, and again, this is according to sources, I haven't personally seen this, there's a voice message, a different voice message from the one that leaked before. And in this one, someone is allegedly confessing, not to everything, not directly, but saying things like, "I told you she'd be easy to take down. Nobody really likes her anyway. The blogs were so easy to manipulate. Just give them a story and they've run with it. By the time she figures out who did it, it'll be too late." Now, the voice is allegedly that same distorted filter, so it's hard to say definitively who it is. But some people who claim to know this person well say they recognize speech patterns, certain phrases, the way sentences are structured. And if they write about who it is, loves, the entire industry is about to shatter. The evidence that's still hidden. The frustrating part is that allegedly there's more documents, more recordings, more receipts. But sources say certain people are sitting on them, waiting, either building a legal case or waiting for the right strategic moment to release everything. One person allegedly close to the investigation said, "When everything comes out, and it will come out, people are going to realize this was much bigger than Chrisean. She was just the target this time, but there are others, and this has been happening for years." So, we're not just talking about one setup. We're allegedly talking about a pattern, a system, a method that's been used multiple times on multiple people. In Chrisean Rock, she might have just been the one who finally fought back hard enough for people to pay attention. The industry's response, or lack thereof. You know what's been very interesting now is the silence from certain corners of the industry. Major figures who usually comment on everything, quiet. Blogs that usually have exclusive sources, suddenly they don't know anything. People who were so quick to tear Chrisean down, now they're acting like they never said a word.
That's called self-preservation, y'all. Because if the truth comes out, a lot of people are going to have to answer for their role in this. The next shoe to drop. And here's what has everyone on edge right now. Multiple sources are saying that something big is about to happen. Like in the next few days or weeks. Could be legal action, could be a major media interview, could be the full unredacted documents being released. But apparently Chrisean's team is preparing for something, and allegedly, so is the team of the person she's about to expose. So if you thought this was dramatic, child, we might just be in the opening act.
Synthesizing the chaos. All right, loves, let's bring this all together because this story is insane when you actually lay out everything that happened. Chrisean Rock was allegedly targeted in one of the most calculated, coordinated setups we've seen in entertainment this year. Someone, we have a strong idea of who, but can't say definitively yet, allegedly used their power, resources, and industry connections to try to completely destroy her reputation. They created fake evidence. They paid people to spread lies. They manipulated the timeline. They exploited existing biases about who gets believed and who doesn't, and they almost succeeded. The $33,000 identity transaction that her name was attached to, allegedly completely fabricated. The video proof from years ago and not even her. The social media confessions, fake accounts created specifically for the scandal. And through it all, there was allegedly someone in the shadows, someone with power, someone with motive, someone who's done this before. The key concerns. So here's what we're left with, y'all. Here are the core questions that should concern all of us. 1. How easy is it to destroy someone's reputation with fake evidence and a coordinated social media campaign? Apparently, very easy. 2. Who's holding these people accountable? Who's making sure that when false accusations are spread, there are real consequences? Right now, nobody. 3. How many other artists have been targeted like this and we just never knew? How many times has this playbook been used successfully? That's the scary part. Because Chrisean fought back. She had resources. She had a platform. But what about the artists who don't? The ones who just quietly disappear after their reputation is destroyed? And the biggest question of all, when the name finally comes out, when the person behind this is allegedly exposed, will there actually be consequences? Or will this just get swept under the rug like everything else? The bigger picture. This story isn't just about celebrity drama, loves. It's about power. It's about who gets to control narratives. It's about how easily truth can be buried under an avalanche of lies. And it's about the fact that in the social media age, your reputation can be destroyed in hours before you even know what's happening. And the people who did it might never face any consequences. That scares all of us, because if it can happen to Chrisean Rock, someone with millions of followers and resources to fight back, what happens to regular people? What happens to us? What happens next? So where do we go from here? Well, allegedly, the legal teams are gearing up. Documents are being prepared. Witnesses are being interviewed. And sources say that within the next few weeks, we might finally get the full story. The real name, the real motive, the real extent of what was done. And when that happens, loves, I'll be right here breaking it all down for you. Your thoughts matter. But here's what I want to know from you, because this affects all of us. Do you believe Chrisean was set up? Do you believe the evidence she provided? And more importantly, if the name of the puppet master is revealed and it's someone with serious industry power, do you think they'll actually face consequences? Or will this just get swept under the rug like everything else? And here's another question. How do we as a culture do better? How do we stop participating in these pylons before we know the truth? How do we demand actual evidence before we destroy someone? Because I'll be honest, y'all, I've been doing this for a while and this story shook me.
the level of calculation, the level of cruelty, the level of this is just how the game is played. It made me realize how easily any of us can become a target if we're not careful, if we don't question, if we just believe what we're fed. The call to action. So here's what I'm asking you to do. 1. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this whole situation. Do you believe Chrisean? Do you think there's more to the story? Who do you think is behind this? And here's another question. Share this video if you think more people need to hear about what really happened, because the mainstream narrative is still trying to paint Chrisean as guilty, and that's not right. 3. Stay alert, stay critical. The next time you see a scandal break, ask questions. Look for receipts. Don't just assume someone's guilty because the internet says so. And 4, let's keep following this story together, because allegedly the real tea is about to spill, and when it does, I'll be here to break down every single detail with you. The final word. The $33,000 betrayal isn't over, loves, not by a long shot. Chrisean Rock was targeted. She was set up. She was almost destroyed. But she's still standing. She's still fighting. And allegedly, she's about to expose everyone who came for her. So, to whoever orchestrated this, to whoever thought they could take down Chrisean Rock and walk away clean, to whoever's been pulling strings in the shadows, she knows who you are. We're starting to figure it out, and your time is allegedly running out. All right, loves, that's all I have for you today. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications because when this next chapter drops, you do not want to miss it. I'll see you in the comments section below. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember, not everything you see on the internet is true. Do your research, ask questions, and never underestimate the power of someone fighting back. Peace, loves. Until next time.